Hello and welcome back to the Your Coach podcast with myself, Charlotte of Charlotte Lane Coaching. Um, Thank you for joining me on what is a sunny afternoon, and thank you to my lovely guest Sophie, who sat next to me today. Good afternoon, Sophie.
Good afternoon.
Sophie is another client of mine. I know what you're all thinking, like, where is she getting them all from? Like, how is she getting them to come on? um, I will introduce Sophie very soon. I just wanted to kind of let you know where we're going with today's podcast and what we're talking about. So, we're talking about a subject that is going to form a lot of opinions from different people. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I don't want to upset anyone. These are my opinions that I'm discussing. Um, but I think it's an important conversation to have, and there probably will be more conversations about the subject matter. But today, Sophie is here to join me and talk about the weight loss injections, which is something that you cannot ignore. They are everywhere. Um, but the reason that I thought it really important to talk about this, I don't know if it was you, Sophie. I don't know if it was another client of mine, but someone said to me on the gym floor that they had a friend who was on the injections and they didn't feel it appropriate or they were terrified to tell their personal trainer they were on the injections.
Yeah, that was me.
That was you, right? See, I didn't pay attention. um, and that just made me really sad. It scared me and it made me really sad that people were afraid to have those conversations. And at the end of the day, you're in you're in a health environment, and if you're on medication, health and safety reasons, I need to know what you're on. Um, but if you're also on the injection and you're in a gym environment, to me, you are trying to make positive change. And I didn't want people out there to feel that level of shame that they can't have that conversation. They should have a good relationship with. So that's why we're here today to talk about weight loss injections and gym and everything else involved in it. Um, but Sophie, I appreciate you coming on because this is a subject not everyone is comfortable talking about. Um, it does, divide opinions. Um, so I thank you for coming on and again having a super honest conversation with me. Um, you've trained me for a long time, right?
Yeah, very like that.
A long time. What is it? Well, it's over 5 years now, right?
Yeah,
Because distinctly remember us training outside during lockdown
yeah,
when you were allowed, FYI,
yeah.
we were allowed to train outside. We were part of the crew that did it in January because that was just insane.
Too cold.
We waited till February, right? So you've been seeing me and known each other for a long time.
Yeah,
Caveat to that, we have a lot and have had a lot of honest conversations. I always come from a place of care and love. So I know I can be honest with you and you can be vice versa with that. Um, so you've been training using the gym for over 5 years now with me. Um, what made you first join a gym? Before we get on to all the other stuff that's come up most recently, what made you join a gym?
I think when I first wanted to join the gym, it was purely to lose weight. Which I imagine is what it is for a lot of
It's
people.
a biggie.
And I remember when I came to you and said this, and you told me that you don't train people to be skinny, you train women to be strong and bad bitches. Um, as a drag race lover, spoke to me massively. Um, But at that point in time, it didn't really matter in a way, I guess, what you said. I just sort of thought, okay, I could achieve this if I went to the gym. And that was my whole goal at that point was to just lose weight. And that was everything that I wanted. And I think, yeah, that's definitely changed over 5 years.
It's been a journey, right?
Yeah, a massive journey. It's not perfect. It's not linear. It is
But you carry on with it.
chaotic. Yes, still going amazingly.
It it's tough because I see it in a few people and I have seen it in a few people over the years. And they come to me and you've probably seen the look that I give, but I can almost see into your soul a little bit. And I see people tell me that they want to lose weight like it's going to fix everything.
Yeah,
Like it's magically going to solve everyone's problems if they're 5 kilos less on the scales. And it doesn't work like that. Like you will still have, and from experience, and spoiler alert, there's going to be another podcast where I talk about surgery. But just fixing something physically or aesthetically on your body doesn't change what your mind tells you. And I can see it when predominantly women say to me they want to lose weight. That's why I try and shift the focus onto the health and fitness and the strength side of things, because it becomes a lot more of a mental journey as well when you don't put so much emphasis on scales. Because we know it's right, yeah, and we'll get into this, but we've learned firsthand, right? So 5+ years with me, people probably listen thinking, Jesus Christ, you deserve a medal, or no wonder you still have to go to the gym to help your mind. Um, why why do you think you stuck with it this long? Why are you still going?
I think part of it is mental health reasons. Um, the gym just completely changes how I feel about myself because it's time that you purely for you. It is the most selfless or selfish act all in one. And you can go, you can switch off, and every emotion that you have can come out when you're at the gym. No one cares. And that's, I think, what I love. It definitely is a safe space. It's not always felt like that. It's you don't walk into a gym and think, "Oh my God, I feel so safe right now."
Yeah.
It takes time. I think part of sticking it out with you is the accountability, is the honesty. I think everybody needs a PT that tells you that's an excuse.
We've had some tough love moments. We have.
Yeah, and you have to, because what I've learned is you can always find a reason to not go to the gym. And it's shifting the narrative, I think, from your own mind of going, you're going to go to the gym, and when you leave the gym, you're going to be skinny. And that's not what it is. It's you're going to go to the gym, you're taking care of yourself, it's looking after yourself. And I think we see a lot online and people going to the gym and looking perfect in the gym. We do not look perfect in the gym at all.
No. There's sweat, there's tears,
yeah,
there's gross stuff everywhere.
And I think until you step into a gym and are consistently going, then you get to see that.
Yeah.
You might go into the gym your first ever time, and you might see somebody in a sports bra and shorts, and you think, oh my gosh, I really don't fit in. I've definitely experienced that before at other gyms, and that then makes it really hard because I don't have that sort of body, and I'm like, well, then I don't suit the gym. But the more that you go, the more you see a variety of people of ages, genders, and greasy hair and sweat stains and all sorts of jazz going off, and it makes you feel so comfortable.
I felt mildly guilty this morning, right? Off on a tangent. I had a couple of clients in at 6 a.m. this morning. And so it's Saturday morning, 6 a.m. I'm in the gym, like waiting for them to come in. And for some foolish reason, I wasn't there last night, right? 33. Crazy. And they walked in, they're like, oh, how do I look like nice at 6 o'clock in the morning? I was like, no, no, no. You see me last night, don't get it twisted. So don't judge the gym environment off literally a 5-minute interaction with someone, because it's completely different.
Yeah.
And you might see them on a good day. You didn't see them a week ago when they'd been crying in the toilets or whatever and had to drag themselves out and get themselves back on the Smith machine. Like,
it varies for everybody. And I think when you first step into the gym, you are so accepting of everybody else in there, and you watch what they do.
Because you're thinking they're looking like you at that, like that as well, right? They're not, but that's
how you feel. And then you realise, and it isn't until sometimes I'll be like on a machine and I've seen somebody as I've walked in, and then they're not there anymore. I'm like, oh, disappeared, because you're focusing on yourself, and that's exactly what every single other person is doing in the gym. They're not there to watch you and see what you're doing in the gym. They don't care less. It's the selfish act. You're there for you, and it takes a while to get to that. It's not a flip switch. No, it does take time, but I think the consistency of getting into the gym, and we'll probably touch on that I'm not a consistent person in the gym at all, but having you there for the accountability and the honest conversations, and that's taken time as well, right? Of me literally going, I didn't come to the gym because I couldn't be asked.
Yeah.
I just didn't want.
I'd rather you say that rather than someone reel off all these excuses, let's be honest, I'd rather be like, I just couldn't be bothered. I'm like, Sophie, come on, you feel better for it, as opposed to, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened. And I'm like, there's always a reason to not go, but you give me a reason to not go, and I'll counter it
Yeah,
with
exactly. And sometimes it's just that. You just can't be asked to go, feel like shit, might be hungover, and you just don't want to go. And sometimes that's fine,
yeah.
but it's then, okay, your next day you need to be going, and that is still part of my journey that I'm on.
It is, but you've had such a big switch. So we said that you've been on a journey and whatnot, which sounds really cheesy, but it's 100% true.
Yeah.
Because okay, you first started going to the gym seeing me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
However, you now know, and obviously we're here to talk about weight loss, so that is still or was one of the main aims. However, you now know the importance of exercise has health. And even when the scales weren't going down for whatever reason, you kept yourself going because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that became a bigger win for you.
Yeah, it just helped settle my mind, and I felt so much better for going in, doing self.
It's self-care. It's a normal self-care. It's like, look,
Gets you out of your own space. Sometimes I've always been a big believer that your space usually reflects how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to then feel any other way when you're in that space. And at the gym, that's not your space anymore. And you can fake who you want to be for that 30 minutes, hour and a half that you're in there. And it just takes you out of your own zone. And then I'd get home and I feel so much better. And I can look at the space that I was in and want to alter it and amend it, even if it was tiny things. And over the time of doing that, my space became how I felt when I was at the gym.
Because it's not like I've trained you for the last 5 years, 2, 3 times a week, and sit like it's not been like that because you've moved away, you've moved back, you've been like doing degree, like do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because there was a stage where obviously you weren't living in the area, but we would still check in, and I'd still see you, and I think that was when, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we realised how much the exercise and the activity did impact your mental health. Yeah, and you weren't doing it as much, and that was, I'm guessing, a bit of an eye.
Yeah, massively. I think when I moved away, I thought my life would be something else. But everybody has when they first move out on their own. I think it's going to be grand idea. Yeah, and it wasn't. And before I moved away, I was going to the gym quite consistently.
Yeah.
And then that stopped. I don't think I realised probably until I moved back home and started going to the gym constantly again and started putting more time into it, how much of an impact it really has. I think it does sound so cheesy. Powerful. See it all over Instagram and stuff.
They're not lying, are they?
Yeah, it actually does make such a difference. And it's not even going in and doing an absolute like hell of a workout. Like I will sometimes go to the gym and do 20 minutes on the cross trainer and leave again.
But we still pay that as a win because yeah, we know what the last 5 years look like. That is a win. That's a huge win. If you can hit those consistent visits, we know the impact that has.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
It's small steps, I think, as well. Like you say, it's a journey, and I really don't want to go to the gym if I can get in, do 20 minutes on a cross trainer and leave. I've still been consistent because I've still got my ass up, go to the gym, gone inside the gym, and that's such a big thing because 2 years ago that wasn't even happening. No.
Also, you have quite a sedentary job.
Yes.
And this is when the activity becomes even more important because we've set goals and targets before about hitting like a 5,000 step kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're working from home, like, and a lot of people out there will be the same, you struggle to get those steps in. And I think that's why I know yours did, and a lot of people in that situation with mental health and stuff there because you're working from home. You're in those four walls all day. Like, are you then just staying in, not getting in, not going out like that? That 20, 30 minutes, it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge impact. And it can be very easy to fall into those really negative thoughts if you are literally just inside in your own company all day. Like you might walk into the gym and only want to say hello to people, but that people like they could be the first people you interact with all day.
Yeah, definitely. I think being at home and working from home is very isolating. Even you might have meetings on team stuff is so isolating. And I'm not the sort of person that would go for a walk after work. No, I'm just not.
You know,
Yeah, it's not something I enjoy. It doesn't take away my thoughts and stuff. I have learned over my years at the gym that I like to go to gym and I like to lift weights. I like to feel strong. I like to feel heavy. I like to completely come out of who I am.
so what you're saying is my brainwashing tactic works really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much get strong for your bad bitch.
Yeah, basically.
It's the motto of gym life.
So we've turned the corner. We don't want to be as small as possible. We want to be fit. We want to be healthy. Before we touch on to the injections, you've had some big small scale victories.
Yes.
Like, can you tell everyone else what they are? I know what they are, but can you tell everyone else like just things to look at that aren't just like relying on what scale though?
Yeah, so one of my biggest ones I'm very, very proud of is that when you are scratching, you scratch like your calf and you lift your foot behind. I always use my trainers that have like tabs on the back.
Yeah.
So I could grab the tab and pull my foot up, couldn't reach my foot. And then I lost weight and one day me and Charlotte were scratching and I just grabbed my foot and it was the most ecstatic feeling ever because I'd never been able to do it before. But it was such a big win for me because that's something that I wanted to do. And I remember saying to you, I would love to not have to have traders and tabs anymore. And now I don't have to
buy whatever trader you want.
Yeah, I have to look if we've got tabs that I can reach. And that was definitely a non-scale victory. Other non-scale victories, buying knee-high boots.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another great one. Knee-high boots are so difficult. How the shops make them, they're so small anyway. And I bought a pair of knee-high boots about 4-5 months ago, and they zipped up, and I was so thrilled with that as well. And it's tiny little things like that that you don't probably think a lot of, and if it's not something that you deal with at the moment, it's just always been a normal. But for myself, it wasn't a normal, and it was something I always wanted to be normal.
It took work. It took that.
It took a lot of effort. It still takes effort now to be able to still enjoy those wins.
Yeah,
they don't just stay there. Now I can do them. It still takes determination and consistency to be able to keep making sure I can enjoy them. And it's lovely every time I step in now. I'm always like, oh, I'm so proud of myself and look how amazing my body can be because I've looked after it, I've nurtured it, and I've loved it. And it probably this would doesn't do everything that I would love it to do, but that's what the gym's about,
and that's progress.
Yeah, and it is finding what is the next thing that is the scale. The scales don't mean everything in the world, and measurements I would say are even bigger than what the scale says. You've done measurements before where I've lost inches, but my weight's gone up slightly. And there's loads of different reasons why your weight might go up slightly. You might have gone out for a lovely meal for that, or it might be you might be on your period.
Yeah,
all those little things. Measurements, I think, are so much more important than stepping on the scale. Stepping on the scale doesn't work, and it can be quite overwhelming for an awful lot of people. I've experienced it. I've got friends and family that have experienced it, where you get so focused on what that number says. Yeah, and then you're not looking at yourself because you're like, well, I'm going to wait tomorrow, so I'm only going to eat a piece of lettuce today, and that's not how it works. I saw something really interesting actually on Instagram, and I don't know how true it is, but it definitely helped with my mindset. That was when you step on the scale, that's what your body was 2 weeks ago. Right. And I thought that was so interesting to see because going to the gym on a Saturday and weighing on a Sunday isn't going to reflect on the scale. And I think that massively helped my mindset of, well, this was how I was 2 weeks ago. In the last 2 weeks, I've worked my arse off. So next time I weigh, that's going to reflect. And I think that's such a better way sort of looking at it if you are going to be going on to the scale.
I had to literally in the past couple of days, and if she's listening, I'm not going to name, but if she's listening, I'm sure what I'm saying. But a client recently started that with me, So I've not really done much activity for a while. And literally a few weeks in, feeling fitter, feeling better, kind of spin classes easier, like already. Never easy, but easier. And she was here to say massage lady. And she said the massage lady was, oh, I can tell you about seeing Charlotte. Like I can feel your muscles when she does. So what does my client do, bless her? The first thing she does, she just fails. Her weight hasn't changed. So then goes into a bit of a panic, and then like, what's the point? And then eats some, food that's not great for her, and kind of falls off the wagon a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but why? Because you've literally just been told by someone that kind of not only sees your body but feels your body how much muscle you've put on. If you put muscle on, you are going to have added some weight to that equation. If you've jumped on the scales and your weight hasn't gone up for muscle, therefore you've lost body fat. But you've literally just jumped on the scale, seen that it stayed the same, fallen off the deep end from a really positive comment when you're feeling really great about yourself. So my next thing was like, right, don't go on the scales for the next 4 weeks. You better. Bar.
Yeah.
But that's how dangerous and that's how damaging it can be. You're feeling absolutely fantastic about yourself. Then you jump on the scales and you feel like shit again.
Yeah. It's just, I always say scales are subjective because you put stuff on your scales at home and then stuff on someone else's scales or on different flooring or whatever, and it's always going to show you different.
I have two sets of scales at the gym. Okay. I have an electronic, but I don't know. I have two separate scales. Let's just say that. Let's not get technical about it. But I stood on both of those scales yesterday morning, and there was, let me think, 0.6 kilos difference between the two scales in the same room within 2 minutes of jumping on them. Like, so, and people will literally freak out if they put on a pound, but in pound. People will freak out if they put on a pound, and that was a pound difference. So, okay, like to use them as a little bit of a benchmark when you're putting it alongside other things such as measurements. But, and again, it might sound a little bit strange to say this when we're going to talk about a weight loss injection, but please don't just use that as your own method of measuring your progress. Please. Okay, so non-scale victories, massive. You've had a lot. Kept going with it.
Yeah.
You have, when push comes to shove, look, you're still going at it now. 5, 6 years later, you're still there. You know the importance of it. You make time and you put time out. You have taken the weight loss injections, okay? Can you kind of talk us through what kind of made you come to that decision and how it does look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a easy decision or a quick decision I made at all. I did loads of research.
And when you told me this, I trusted you fully that you would have researched everything.
Yeah, I looked at all the positives and negatives because it is something that is new and no one really knows an awful lot about it. It's used to treat diabetes mainly in its form, but it has been found to then support weight loss. And my social media was completely flooded with people using the injection and all of the positives about it and how much weight people had lost and all of this. And then the other side of my social media was very negative. I did a lot of research. I spoke to family about it because it was a big decision to make because not only was I making the decision for me, I was very fearful of the judgment that I would have choosing this. And it was making sure that I was doing it safely and I was doing it for the right reason.
Yeah.
And I think that my first thought when I wanted to go on the objective was, I just want it for someone to be slim. And this is what's going to make it slim. And then doing my research and all that very quickly disappeared because there are side effects to it. And throughout using them, the side effects haven't been a lot of fun. It isn't magic. But making sure that doing the research, make sure it's the right thing to do, weighing up pros and cons. What is your lifestyle like? Can you be consistent with it? Is it something that you are willing to do and stick with for however long you set that time frame up? And I think setting a time frame up is really important. I remember when I came to you, and I waited a while before I came to Charlotte to tell her that I was going to do it because I wanted to make sure I've got a plan in place exactly how I wanted it to look. And I waited until the beginning of the year, so it was January 2025. I got a New Year's Day, I'm doing my injection, and I said I'm going to be on it for 6 months. Yeah, and at 6 months, I'm going to see where I'm at, and if it hasn't really worked for me, I will come off it. If it is working for me, then we will reassess at that point and see what to do. And I made sure that I only did mine on a Wednesday evening because that worked for me. Because I could do it before I went to bed, sleep off the majority of the side effects, and then I was always available on a Wednesday evening to do it. Because as soon as you're unavailable to do it and you've missed it, you have to wait until like the week after, potentially, depending who your provider for the injection is. Yeah. Mine was you had to then do it sort of as soon as you can, but then if I did it then on a Thursday, I knew I was available on a Thursday evening. Yeah. So then it messed me up, so then I've waited it out, and it then made it quite messy, and then struggling to keep that consistency. And if you can't do that, they aren't as effective as they could definitely be for you.
Because what you're saying, you've come to this hefty decision, and it is a hefty decision because it's your health at the end of the day. It also costs money.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Just something that I have to say before I forget. Like, I will not judge anyone for anything. I won't. And that's why I want to have this conversation on here. And I'm very appreciative to you for being so honest about it, because there's yourself and another couple of clients of mine that have been very honest about it and open about it, which has hopefully made you better at my job for other people that might be going on it or on it. And you've helped educate me what it's like for people on it and train people on it, and how it works like that. But it terrifies me. I trust you and I trust all my other clients. When you're getting it, when you do get it, it's from a trusted supplier.
Yeah.
What terrifies me is people are out there flogging this online as some massive weight loss program, and it's some dodgy fight like way down the road that's got it Lord knows where, and they're selling weight loss programs because they've lost 4 stone in 3 weeks, and it's only going to cost you 40 quid for a week. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is your health. If you are doing this for health reasons, please do not get it from the cheapest supplier that you don't know where it's from, you don't know what's in it. Like, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. There are other ways that you can go about it. And if anyone needs any help with respect to that, then please get in touch. But please don't sacrifice your health for the sake of losing some pounds.
Yeah.
Because there are healthier ways to do it that are trustworthy.
Yeah, it's a big part of my decision making. And when I started it about a year and a half ago now, there was lots of different providers offering it, and I'm not the most up-to-date person in the world, and these companies were offering it and doing deals on it, and you could pay £100 each month, and you can go up the injections, and whatever it might be. And I've never heard of it before. And there was another place offering it, and you could get 40% off or 10% off at codes and all of this stuff. Again, I've never heard of that. I chose Lloyd's Pharmacy for mine because I've heard of them.
Yeah,
they're a branch pharmacy. It felt very comfortable for me. But then in choosing those, they were higher priced than some of these other places I've seen it. But for me, it made me feel safer. It's very panicky picking something to put into your body you've never heard of. You've never seen sort of how that might affect you in the first 30 years. So making sure it's far from my reputable, that do ask the right questions. So I had to fill in forms and videos of myself.
Yes.
To make sure that I did fit the criteria that something else happens if people fake that.
And that's it. There are safety protocols there to make sure people are taking it, or to help make sure people are taking it safely.
Yeah.
And they're not falling into some form of disorder trap that maybe they've had before or never had before. Because I said that to you from the start. I was concerned that some people would see these injections, take these injections, and suddenly develop eating disorders.
Yeah.
Because you become so hyper focused on the scale and you're just not eating. And a lot of the stuff that I do with clients is make sure that they're eating enough and eating the right things for their fluid function. So if you are taking a drug that is stopping you from being hungry, you still need to eat. And I know that was a journey for you as well.
Yeah.
So you started taking it in last January.
Yeah.
And how long did you take it for?
I took it for 10 months in total.
Yeah.
I came off it in middle of October.
Yeah. Because you up the dosing, right? Or you can up the dosing.
Yeah.
So you took the smallest dose for a little bit and then you up it?
Yeah, so it goes in stage. So you start at 2.5,
yeah,
and it goes up in 2.5. So I did 2.5 for the month, and everything I've read was then go up because 2.5 is meant to be your starting dose, getting your body used to it. So now I went up to 5, and I'll be completely honest, I wish I never did.
I was going to say, you suffered, those are the side effects that you suffered with then, right?
Yeah, it was, the 2.5 had its own side effects, but the 5 was probably, I don't know, I'm guessing it would get worse, but for me, it was too much, and it started to get a little bit dangerous because I was throwing up after every single meal.
And this is when it kind of like the alarm bells start ringing.
Yeah, I very specifically remember it was Valentine's Day, and I didn't have a Valentine, but I went and
you got vomit.
Yeah, I vomited. I went and got myself a nice meal to treat myself. You know, Valentine's all about self-love. And I remember I got like a steak, got a nice cheesecake, all of the lovely things that you want on Valentine's Day. And I ate it all, really did it. And I'm eating it knowing this is going to make me throw up. This isn't going to sit with me. It's going to make me throw up. And part of my brain, and the very small dangerous part of it, when, well, it's fine because that it's free calories. And
that's the scary part.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever thought that. And then I was on 5 mg for about 2 months. And those 2 months, those were thoughts that kept me back. Yeah. Well, just eat it because you're going to throw it up anyway, so it's not even going to count your system. So just enjoy it while you have it. That isn't what this should be. No. It's a tool to aid what we're already aiming for. And so I dropped that down. And my results on 2.5 were really positive. So,
do you think that you would have had that thought process had you not spent the last 3 years or so on your gym journey? Like, coming to the realizations that you have with regards to activity and mental health, do you think you would have come to that realization when you did? If you would have
I think it would have taken me longer, or it probably would have taken another person maybe to tell me. I don't think it would have been as quick of a self-realization in the moment. I think if I hadn't have been going to the gym prior to going on the weight loss steps, or even during it, and realizing all the other stuff it can do for me and getting out of the mindset of I just want to be thin, then I probably would have taken three calories really positively. Yeah. I'd been, oh, God, this is amazing, like I can eat what I want, it's not going to affect me, I'm going to still be losing weight, and actually it made me feel so awful. So that I was more exhausted.
Well, we were having to obviously cater session. And this is why, again, I would hate for anyone to feel uncomfortable or not able to have this conversation with a health professional because it was very clear that your energy levels weren't there. I knew why we had the conversation.
Yeah.
But like we were having to cater sessions and we couldn't expect any great things from those sessions. No. Because your energy wasn't there. Like you weren't feeling well. You weren't fueled. Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it was just a case of damage limitation and let's keep doing as much activity as we can.
Yeah. I would say to anybody, if you are on it or wanting to go on it, speak to your personal trainer or just speak to somebody in the gym. Even if you don't have a personal trainer, speak to somebody, ask them what their advice would be.
Like, I'm not going to charge someone to have a cup of coffee and sit down 20 minutes. They will have to pick my brain. Like,
yeah,
I'm not an arsehole. I'm sure to pop you. Like, you can ask me a question.
I think it's so important to do because you are, in my own personal experience, I was so exhausted on it. I would come to the gym and, like you mentioned, they weren't full sessions. It was very much catered. But I genuinely believed in that time that it was the most exhaustive, hard-working session I've ever done in my
It's all
entire life.
relative, right? It's all
Yeah,
relative.
and we would pause because I would feel sick or I'd feel dizzy or I'd get very overheated and I'd need to go to about 5 minutes. And I'd sometimes be on the verge of tears because I would just be so tired that my body genuinely felt like it couldn't do it. And
Did you find it frustrating having those gym wins in the past previously, um, and getting yourself to that position, and then obviously going on the inject? Did you find it frustrating being gym environment and feeling like you could do less? You had to do less.
think it was a mix. It was frustrating because I knew that I wasn't doing as much as I could be. But then on the other side, it was still very rewarding that even though I was on the injection, I was still getting up and going to the gym. I spoke to a lot of people, seen a lot of people online that are on the injection that do not go to the gym. And that was something that I didn't want to happen. I wanted to make sure I was going to the gym. From my research, the injection absolutely takes away your muscle mass. And I've worked hard for 3 years of trying to get stronger and all of that sort of stuff. I didn't want to lose all of that because I made this decision. Also, the other side of it is, I'm spending all this money on injection. It's more than likely going to work. Let's amp it. Let's get into the gym, do some weights, let's do some cardio, to speed up the results. I knew I didn't want to be on it forever.
Yeah.
So, however, I could have got those results quicker but safely,
Yeah.
by getting into the gym was really important. But then I had to like the tea sessions twice a week because I was so tired I wasn't feeling myself.
Yeah. If Sophie is one of those lovely people and you are not alone, if she's not hooked in with me, it's a struggle to get in. You need me on your back.
Yeah.
But you touched on obviously the muscle wastage, and this was again one of my main causes of concern, with people not doing their research or maybe not looking into it as much as what they should. A lot of the people on these injections are women,
Yeah.
of the age where muscle mass becomes very important. If you are perimenopausal, like you want to be building the muscle mass, because once you go through menopause, it's so much harder to build it. Lean muscle mass is what keeps us functional. It's what means that we can get up off the chair or off the floor or pick things up like that. And also aesthetically, it's what women typically want to want to look home.
Yeah.
So if you are taking these weight loss injections and not doing it with the priority of like being health, if you are literally just hardly eating anything, like your body's just going to waste away. And that is everything, muscle mass included. And so if you are not doing what you can to try and maintain that, and that is making sure you're still eating protein, making sure you are still doing strength training, like you're going to be in a pickle. And that was a massive concern for me, because I'm like, ladies, please do not think that you can just drop 4 stone and then get yourself on the gym and then start putting some new muscle mass on, because you're going to make that. And I've seen it. I have a few clients that come to me whilst taking it, and I have seen a few people that have taken the weight loss injection whilst not gymming, and they are left with more loose skin. I can't do anything with that. Like, I can't. If a personal trainer tells me they can help with skin, that's shit, right? Calling it right now. I can't do that. I'm not a surgeon. I can't do that. And so I know of women out there that have been very insecure because of their weight for so long. They've dropped the weight, but now they're full of insecurities with their loose skin, and they still feel uncomfortable wearing the shorts, even without the weight, because they're left with the skin, and that makes me sad. Really, really sad. So I just find it very important to make sure we cancel exercise last.
Yeah, I think the other part as well is the muscle mass, make sure you get in the gym is really important. But I think what's not talked about enough when people on the injection is your mental health.
Right.
Because if you take the injection, phones listen to you, I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
But then your whole feed is all about that, everything, adverts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook will just be this. and all you are sitting doing is comparing yourself to other people. People are really based online about the weight loss injections they've done really well,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they might have been on it for a year, or people go on it and are saying that they're on it and you're losing weight, and all you're doing is spending time comparing yourself to people. And you're there going, well, they lost 10 pounds in a week. How have I not lost 10 pounds? I've only lost two
Such
pounds
a
in,
terrifying amount of weight to lose.
yeah, and
Terrifying.
losing 2 pounds a week is amazing. But all I was start doing was comparing myself to people. Getting into the gym, we've already discussed, changes my mental health completely. And that's very much where the my frame came off of I'm doing this for me. And I am still here. I'm doing this safely. I am still working on myself. I am not completely relying just on the job. And if I'm doing everything, and you know what, it might be delusion of the mind, and the short I've lifted in the state of delusion were my favourite things to do. But if I step on the scales and I hadn't lost weight, because I would weigh every week to just see how I was if I hadn't lost weight, I would then say to myself, well, you've been in the gym and you've lifted weights, so maybe it's muscle. And that massively helped. And you can't get away from it on social media. It's impossible. Even now, I'm no longer on it and I still see things about it because it lingers. And I think having that space in the gym to go feel a bit of freedom, get away from the shame. There's a lot of shame around going on it. And, well, this isn't the only thing I'm doing. I'm also coming to the gym and working on myself. Also helps boost you.
It also proves to be that you can from a health perspective. Yeah. Like, please do not get me wrong. Do I want to look good when I've exercised? Yes, I do. Like, I'm not going to lie about it. But I also want to feel good. And I know looking good does automatically feel good. And also looking good like beauty is kind of older. Like, I have a client and I'm going to name her Claire if she's listening. She calls me repulsive all the time because she doesn't like muscle. Like,
Yeah.
I can't put my biceps anywhere near her face. She tells me how disgusting I am. Like, what Claire wants and what I want are two different things, and that is okay. But we both want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you went 10 months on the show, and then you came off it. So I have also heard, and I don't want to say horror stories. These are a friend of a friend of a friend. This is people close to people that I know. And it is a common story. Lost a lot of weight by the injection, because she drastically cut her food intake, dangerously so. Lost maybe something like 4 stone. Was eating hardly anything. That all gets broadcast right on social media, like, yeah, massive weight loss. Look how amazing I feel, and I look like, okay, but I'm glad you feel good. I'm glad you feel good. And then comes off injection, and I put 3 stone back on in the space of 6 months. Learned absolutely nothing. Learned nothing at all. What did it look like to you when you came off after spending 10 months off injection?
So when I came off the injection, I did gain a little bit of weight back. Not masses. I lost about, let's say, 4.5 stone in total, and I probably gained half a stone back. Yeah. And part of that is because you're off the injection, you've got energy again, you're hungry again because you've got your energy again. So you do eat more. And I was no longer feeling really ill about what I was eating.
Yeah.
Being on the injection, loads of foods I couldn't eat because it would make me vomit. So then again, all this rain now, I can eat all the food I want again because it's not going to make it fall then.
But you have to take ownership, and you have to take your own accountability because you know your shit. You're not that Sophie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's good for you, what isn't good for you, roughly what you should be eating, how much. Like, you know all that.
Yeah.
But obviously the injection made it easier for you to follow those kind of rules, so to speak. But then you've come off it. Did it help having been off it for a little bit and realizing what your body actually kind of wants and asks for, as opposed to what typically you would be given?
Yeah, massively. I think one of the biggest things that I found was portion size.
Yes.
And I know we've had this conversation before as well. As you get older, become an adult, you eat more anyway. But it's very similar. You get off oxygen mask intake, but you're really hungry at night, so you can have a bit more of that. the next time you make sausage and mash, you're going to have the exact same amount of mash you did on that night that you were hungry. And that happens as we get older. It, it happens to everybody. And so your portion size will naturally get bigger.
Like having a glass of wine when you get in from work. Like some people are like, oh, that's a stressful day, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. Oh, it's a Wednesday, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. And it's Thursday, then it's Friday, and then you have, oh, it's a really bad day, I'm gonna have two glasses of wine. Like it just creeps, it happens naturally.
Yeah, and it becomes your normal. And when I went on to the induction and I then wasn't hungry, I was I remember the first time I made a portion of food that I would have normally had because you, I didn't really feel the lack of hunger. I was very much a person that got full a lot faster when I was on the injection. I definitely wasn't like ravenous, but I would just have a couple of mouthfuls from so full. So I just made a normal portion of food, which I thought was normal. And I had a couple of bites of it and I was so full. And you probably couldn't even tell that I'd had any of my dinner. And it wasn't until that moment that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm eating so much food. And like, I would have for lunch a slice of toast with an egg on it. And now I know, even now going to the gym, that's not enough food for your lunch. Like, that's not a normal amount of food. You need more food than that to get through your day, sustain stuff, especially if you're going to the gym. But I was managing to eat that at work and go to the gym and see my friends and socialise and still living life. And that also created a lot of shame for who I was. That was really hard to work through. It wasn't easy because there was a level of self-disgust and all of that. And no one talks about that because that's not glamorous. That's not the fun of losing weight and all pretty and everything that people think comes with it. And it's looking back on things like that that I think, yeah, then now when I'm not on the injection anymore, my portions are bigger than when I won the injection, but a lot less than when before I even started that. And part of that is because when I came off the injection, it was setting up a new game plan.
Yes.
And
But you made that conscious effort.
yes,
A lot of people don't, unfortunately. But that's because it's always long game for you.
yeah, the weight loss injection for me was a tool, and
It wasn't the answer, it was
no,
a tool.
it was to help me get into the gym more and more because that's something that I struggled with because of being bigger and I have eczema and psoriasis, and you are bigger, you've got more folds of skin, and it makes it weird going to the gym, getting hot and sweaty. Doesn't particularly help with that, and that was something that I really struggled with. Since I've lost the weight, that's disappeared. I don't really have that anymore. And
It's huge. I know that was terrible.
yeah, it was a really tough time, and it would mean I couldn't come into the gym. And
Which then is actually your mental health and made you feel worse.
yeah, so that's sort of why I made the decision. And I think if you are going on to use the injection, losing weight isn't enough of a cause to put yourself through that. I would say really dig deep and find a real reason that you want to be on it because it isn't easy and it isn't fun to be on. It's not glamorous.
And it's expensive.
It's expensive. There has to be something. If I wanted it just to lose weight, I wouldn't have gone it. I wouldn't have paid that expense.
Did you, so please remind me, but also those listening, you came off it.
Yeah.
Did you go back on it?
Yes, I did.
How long were you off it?
So I was off it until February this year.
Okay, so that was
About 4 months.
yeah.
And then I went to go back on it. And the reason that I just said is have a real reason is because I decided to go back on it because I wanted to get married this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I lose some more weight, I'll be really confident. Through January, I was going really hard at the gym and nothing was really happening. And that wasn't normal for me because I was going to the gym when I was on the injection and I was seeing all these differences when I was stepping up the scales and my measurements.
Bit of mindful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's quite demoralizing eventually when you look at it and you think, well, how can I do this quickly? Because it's not long till shit married, how can I do it quickly? So I was like,
So you were aware of thought.
yeah.
You were very aware of that.
Then I was like, I'm going to go back on it because this is the only way I can see that I can lose the amount of weight I want to lose before my sister gets married. I took the injection for 3 weeks of it because my heart wasn't in it because the effects that it gives me after being off it for so long and being back to my normal self, I then completely went back to no energy, no
You
effort,
hated it.
feeling poorly, yeah, not being able to do the workouts in the gym we were doing. And I could really feel at that point as well that the exercises were tailored. When I first went on the injection, I could slightly tell, but not as much because the exercises that we were doing were a lot gentler anyway because I was bigger. So they were catered for me anyway, so it didn't feel that different. Once I'd done the injection and lost the weight and we were in the gym, we were hitting it hard. Charlotte made me do 8 rounds of Tabata. That's the level of hard we were in. And it scarred me to this day.
I must have been in such a bad mood that day.
There was no race happening that week. And we were doing that. And then when I went back on it, well, we can't do things like that anymore. But you know what? And do you know what? I don't think I've said this to you yet. So I apologize for not saying it yet. But I'm actually strangely really glad you went back on to then make that realization because I think it hammered home to you that you don't need the injection. Yeah.
And I don't know, I felt a shift that you felt more equipped without it coming off it the second time.
Yeah.
I think it made you realize that, like I say, you don't need it and you'd actually rather not have it. And you'd rather put in the graft, be able to put in the graft. But I also feel like you going back on it that second time made you realize how much you not want to go on it. So you would rather put your portions a little bit, not eat that or not drink that as much, and make sure you go to the gym because actually going back on the injection wasn't nice at all, and you'd rather do it without.
Yeah, definitely. And that's sort of part of what I'd say is a really good reason. Like, I know people that have gone on it because they might have lower mobility. So it's hard for them to get out and walk. And walking is a great way to help with weight loss. So then this is a great tool to use alongside that. So then you might get a bit more mobility back. So you can start that process of walking and start that process of getting into the gym. For me, it was my skin. Is I couldn't get in as much as I wanted to start that. So it was a tool I used alongside it. And I think that then pushed me to want to keep using it to help with that. As soon as that's been cleared up, I very quickly made the decision, to be fair, of I'm happy to come off it now and continue this myself with the awareness that people were gaining their weight back. And I remember sitting with you going, it weighed me. I will not let it be me because I've worked so hard. I've shed so many tears about the way that I look, how sad I am with myself, all of this, that I won't let it be me. And what came off it in October, but half a year passed and I haven't gained it back. But and I'll be completely honest, I've not done everything in my power to not gain it back.
You've not been
Enjoy my life
I was
to the
gonna
full
say,
extent.
you've been having a grand old time. Like you're not in the gym for 2 hours every day, terrified that the weight's gonna come back on. Like you're not that person. You are still out there living life,
Yeah.
but you are just making sure you're still talking out the time to get done what needs to be done.
Yeah, I think when you see people go into the gym, you do see people that are in there every single day. You there's some training stuff. You guys are in the gym all day, every single day, and I think that's what sits. Even if you haven't personal training, you very much think, and I know I have in the past. Well, you're going to think I'm a shit person because I'm not here every day, and that isn't what happens. And I think that's really important for other people to know as well. Is that your PT will work with you if you really just want to go in once every 2 weeks, rather than not going in every month. Like it's little steps till you get there, and it doesn't happen overnight. I've been going 5 years and it still not happens.
Well, I know for you, I check in with you and make sure, like, if you can get through this,
Yeah, perfect.
perfect for you. Like, that's what works for you. You try and push too hard and you push yourself over the way. It's not needed. Have you got any like bold words of wisdom for people out there listening to this? Firstly, for anyone thinking about it, but also there is a massive stigma about it, which is why I'm really glad you came on this conversation. For anyone, because it's very easy to just assume it's easy way out.
Yeah.
For anyone that thinks that and previous conversation would have maybe had a little bit of judgment about it. Is there anything out there that you want to tell them?
I would say that being on the injection is not the easy way out. It's not a cheat code. The majority of people that are on it is because they genuinely can't see another way to lose weight and be happy. That would be what I would say. If you are wanting to use it, research it. Don't use TikTok or Insta. Research it. Look at actual case studies. I took 2 months to make this decision, and I really went back and forth on it.
You're injecting a foreign thing into your body.
Yes, and your body reacts to it. And my symptoms and side effects were quite mild compared to other people that I know that have been on it. I worked with a lady who has really struggled on it, and it's made her feel awful. And I've met other people that are on the highest dose of it, and it almost doesn't even touch the sides for them. So if you are going on it, keep a record, speak to people about it and how you're feeling. It might not work for you. It does not work for every single person. I was on Mounjaro, and there are options, different weight loss injections. So research them, figure out which one will be best for you and work with your lifestyle. Don't let anybody make you feel ashamed for going on it. It is a personal choice for you.
I agree. And also, if anyone, because a little bit of what you just said then just made me feel a bit sad, because if someone feels like there is no other thing to do or no other way out, and this is your last attempt, or you feel like it's your only way to hit the weight loss, it makes me sad because I feel like people just maybe have a little bit of advice, and some conversations. But obviously you with me, you still went down through it, but again, there's the health reasons that impacted that decision. If anyone, wants to have a little conversation or a chat, because like you have proven, there is life after weight loss injections, and it's not going to be a smooth road. No, like you are ultimately going to want to come off it. You have to come off it. Jesus Christ, just for your own sanity, your own health, and your own wallet. But you need to make sure you have a plan when you do come off them. Because if you've put yourself through all that, you want to make sure it's worth the while. You want to make sure ultimately your health is the main aim to come out of it. So to make sure you are healthy, it might need a complete life overhaul, like a complete lifestyle change. Because why are you needing to lose weight? Is there something that needs to change? Are there issues that we have to deal with? And that's something that you and I spoke to about.
Yeah.
And that's why you're aimed out, okay, you want to continue weighing weight is and not let it come back off. But also your mental health is a huge reason why you still exercise.
Yeah.
So you might think that you want to lose weight, but like we first said, like, is losing weight going to fix every problem in your life? Or have you got to fix some of the problems in your life and the weight will come off?
Yeah.
It's a chicken and egg situation sometimes. So I just want people that are listening to not feel the shame around taking injections. I want people that are listening that haven't taken, maybe been a bit judgy about them, maybe have a little bit more understanding.
Yeah.
Some people genuinely feel lost. Some people don't have a support system. Unfortunately, some people will always misuse them. Some people will use them out. They will at it, no, because they're always going to be those kind of people. But that's not the case for everyone. That's typically, in my experience, not the case for the vast majority. To my clients that have taken it and been very honest about it and helped educate me, I appreciate that, like, very much. And yeah, if anyone feels uncomfortable or wants to have a conversation, then please just let me know, because you will never have any judgment. Never.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions for me? Oh gosh, it looks like you have.
Yeah. I've just got one really.
Oh,
Was it hard for yourself and possibly other members of the gym community to adapt and start training people that are using an injection when yourself and other people have worked very hard to be like by just going to the gym? Is it hard for you guys sometimes to flip that stigma around it as well to then be there for your clients?
do you know? Okay, there's a few things there. what initially not cause an issue because that sounds a bit too strong. Um, I spend a lot of time preaching to people. It is a process. It will take time. Put in the work, you will eventually be rewarded. However, a lot of people bail in the first couple of months of gym life because they don't see the results.
Yeah.
They quit too soon. They're too short sighted. Um, and so when I've worked with people that have been working their arse off for 6 months, doing doing like the the bulk of the work, but without seeing much of the results at that stage, I get how it can be very disheartening for them to see someone jump on injections and lose 3 stone in 6 months, where they ultimately want to lose weight, but they've lost 3 pounds, but they've done so much work behind the scenes. And that's kind of like setting up process for what's going to happen. So that that was a little bit tough to digest at first and tough to explain to people. And so I think that's why I can understand people would be like, I'm in this camp or this camp, or I don't agree with it. Because a lot of people prior to the injection had to work their arse off for a couple of years to get to that point. So I understand why people might feel a bit iffy with that. Um, Also for me, a lot of the gym life is again stuff that goes on behind the scenes or behind the eyes. And a lot of my issues, it's not come with losing weight, it's come with the work that's gone into that. And I don't want people to lose that. Um, I think part of the work that you do is so much, it's internal work as well, and you work through so much stuff when you invest that much time and energy to yourself. And everyone has their own reason for exercise, and I do a lot more now.
Yeah.
And I think the the biggest growth that I've been as a person in the last couple of years is coincided with me being in the gym and working on myself in that respect of being like all those people in that time. And so I see some big shifts in people, positive shifts, when they invest so much time and effort into themselves. And I just want to make sure that the people that are on injections are not doing themselves a disservice by not investing that time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually remember when I first started doing that, my dad came out with the best thing ever. And I used this statement all the time instead of saying, "Oh, I'm on weight off injection." My dad called it performance enhancement. But they are because I'm still going to the gym.
Yeah.
For performance enhancing at the gym. So
Yeah.
that's what I've always thought if I'm on performance enhancing drugs. And that's what I tell people as well. So and that I think is so true. The gym is really positive for it, and like you've said this whole time, got clients using it and they've helped educate you on it. And it's ever evolving, right? There's going to be more and more stuff like this.
Yeah, it's not going away. It is not going away. So people need to get used to the idea. Also, as well, I think there was a bit of a when it first started coming out in the fitness community, like a few people were like, "Oh well, people aren't going to see you anymore, are they? Like people aren't going to need you to lose weight." Very quickly, very quickly, there was a shift of, and it's not unrelated, and the industry would have seen it as well. People don't want a personal trainer to lose weight now. No, they want a personal trainer to build muscle mass because they've lost the weight, but they still need assistance guidance with having a strong, healthy body. I just hope that people that are potentially looking down the route of taking injection will take them. Don't leave it too late and get fast to do and decide it and kind of get ahead of the game with that one. But yeah, that so people might not see me to lose weight as much anymore, but they still need help to like build, maintain functionality and muscle mass to make sure that they still have a healthy working body, and are left with the skin situation. Uh, you and I know we've rattled on a little bit, but you and I had a lot of conversation about the Biggest Loser documentary.
Yeah.
Right. And this is just going to be a warning. Heed everyone. If you haven't seen the Biggest Loser documentary on Netflix, I believe,
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, you have to watch it. Like, talk about growing up with toxic diet culture and all that kind of stuff. But the people that lost all the weight, like the winners on the Biggest Loser series, if you look at it, they changed everything so quickly and lost the weight so quickly. It's like it didn't go in properly into their minds.
Yeah.
And form a habit. You fast forward and they all pretty much put the weight back off. And I just want that to be a little bit of a warning system. That if you are contemplating going into weight loss injection, you make sure you're coming out the other end of it and you are fixing any issues you may have with food or diet or exercise, like whatever it may be. Please don't go through all that without a game plan at the end of it to make sure those health shifts are on. Watch the documentary.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Well worth it.
Yeah, well worth it. But thank you so much for coming on. This has eventually been the longest podcast I've done. So if you're still listening, well done, guys. You deserve a medal too.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, if anything that we've spoken about has triggered anything, or you have anything that you want to ask us about, then just let me know. You know where I am. Pop me a message, comment. Like, I will do my best. But I hope this has, I don't know, just opened a few eyes and just shed light onto a subject that I think people should feel more comfortable talking about. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye, guys.